Cheers. Oh, maybe that's how we should start.
Okay.
Yeah. Ready? Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to Two White Men podcast. We're basically just gonna be talking about a couple of topics. The first one is Avengers Endgame. I just finished seeing it last night. Actually, you saw it last night as well, didn't you?
No,
Or was it not last night?
no, I didn't.
You were
see
going
it
to
last
see it last night, but you
Mm.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
first off, I'm just gonna say I bloody enjoyed it.
It was quite good.
Yeah. Second time viewing was more enjoyable because I just accepted.
Wait, should we introduce our names first?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Oh,
So
well.
I think okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
Do you want to do the little cheers?
a little cheers,
Right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to Two White Men. I'm Jake, and
and I'm Mike.
yeah,
That's all the information you're gonna get about us.
yeah. Basically, we want to talk about Avengers Endgame and pandering to women. Essentially, that is something we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And the lovely Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson,
Yeah.
our
Fun
thoughts on
times.
her. I just finished seeing it for the second time last night. The film I think is really good. Felt a bit bloated, a bit long the first time. The pacing seemed a bit off for me. It felt very slow at the start. Second viewing, it was a lot better.
Yeah, I've not seen it for a second time, but I imagine it will be.
Yeah, but essentially, the first time seeing it, I thought, I know Captain Marvel annoyed me when she said Iron Man, and then she just seemed a bit sarcastic, and she can't banter well with the other.
No,
For
she
the
was kind of
characters.
slapped on at the end. And plus,
Yeah.
to be honest, like she filmed Avengers before she actually filmed her own movie, which it's kind of just out of the blue. She feels
True.
like she's chucked in.
Yeah, we can't really blame her for that. We
No.
can blame her for other things she said, but
Yeah,
But,
like her Wrinkle in Time rant.
yeah, goodness. She wouldn't like us, would she?
Yep, she would. I'm pretty sure she would.
Oh yeah, Two White Men.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, the second time I watched it, I tried to pretend that Captain Marvel was a character I liked, and that the actress was an actress I liked.
Yeah.
Like Scarlett Johansson, for example. It's one that I actually think one does a good job of
Yeah.
portraying the character and is
She's much
a
better
human
than,
being that I like as well.
She's much better than that 1970s Scarlett Johansson. Or Black Widow, I mean. Da-da-da-da.
Oh yeah. We'll have to put that on screen. If you haven't seen that, you should go watch that. Iron Man in that is
Hilarious.
worth a watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about really was I think it's based off the A-Force comics, so it's the female, kind of like the female Avengers. But in the film, they do it where, well, essentially Captain Marvel pops down, blows up the ship all by herself. Just she's the cavalry basically,
Yeah.
and then she goes over to Spider-Man and is like, "Oh, have you got something for me? Do you want me to go take?" I know Mike's rolling his eyes, but
It's
just so patronising.
It's so patronising, condescending.
It's meant to be banter, like a little joke.
Yeah.
But she just says it in an arrogant way, and she does that little smirk, and it's just, I
don't know. To me personally, it just came across as condescending. And Spider-Man has been an established hero, even in the MCU.
yeah.
And,
I mean, he's only a kid, like a teenager
Yeah.
there as well. He's, he's not a battle-hardened hero.
no,
And why would you patronise him and condescend him? And
yeah. At
in
the
that
end
way.
of the day, you're invincible, and you can
Yeah.
basically turn into a bullet and fly through space. And
Exactly.
there's this little kid on the battlefield, and you're like, "Oh, you got something for me?" You'd be scared.
Yeah,
He's
of course
like,
he's
"Oh
scared."
shit, I'm gonna die."
yeah, and actually, he's funny. This interesting thing, right? Second time reviewing, I accepted Captain Marvel and Brie Larson. Like I was trying to get on
You gotta
board
be
with it.
open it,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I enjoyed the film a lot more. But every time she had a comedic moment where she made a joke, the whole audience just nothing, nothing. I really noticed it the second time. They just really don't resonate with her at all, and I don't think that's because of her like political, agenda, or whatever she has
Do you
going
think
on.
it's the writing then, maybe?
I think it's just her portrayal, and people just don't mesh with it. Because a lot of people just been like, there's so many people that I know that have asked me, "Oh, do you need to see Captain Marvel before Avengers?" Because none of them have bothered to go see it.
Yeah.
Like, normally everyone is up to date with everything, but they're like, "Oh, can I skip that one?" Essentially, that's what they're saying.
Well, it was
At
like
the time.
with Black Panther, wasn't it? Everyone was thinking about,
Yeah.
"Oh, can I skip that?" And then
Yeah, well, actually, Black Panther I think is better in Civil War than he is Avengers. Not Avengers, Black Panther.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I think that as well. Just because like you've got this whole thing of this character that comes out of the blue. You got no history about him, and he's dangerous. You don't know his powers.
You know, his arc is a lot better as well. His dad, he's trying to find out who murdered his dad or who's responsible essentially, and it's he thinks it's Winter Soldier. He goes on this revenge mission, and then find out at the end, he needs to basically swallow his, vengeance and not let it consume him. I think that's a much better arc for him. Whereas in his actual story, it's kind of like, I want to be a good king. I want to help Wakanda and the rest of the world.
It's more expanding the universe of Black Panther. That's what that film is about. You know about the culture a little bit. You know about these policies of a death fight to see who's going to be king. And...
Yeah, it's very. Don't get me wrong. I did enjoy Black Panther, but a lot of it you do have to suspend your disbelief a little bit because there's no way. Well, they're basically saying if you put this big chunk of metal in Africa, it's solved. Yeah, I mean, come on, that's not. And what the West and even the whole rest of the world are just going along at their own pace, and Wakanda's there got flying,
Yeah, I mean,
these
the other
trains...
argument is the reason why we expanded so quickly in the West is just because we embraced other cultures.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
learn from people. Whereas if you're cut off from everyone, then you're not going to learn anything more. Think about some of the best inventions in the world are just people from different countries just working together.
Yeah, collaborating.
Yeah,
it's because that's kind of what happened to China. China secluded themselves.
Yeah,
they were they were running the world in advancements in technology, and they got to the invention of, I think it was porcelain. They made China teacups basically. I went, oh, there we go. That's pretty good. I think we can stop inventing stuff now. They were ahead of everyone in technology, and then
they closed the borders.
They just stopped, and then their dynasties just kind of got overwhelmed by the West. Then, especially when we went and took, when the UK went over and took Hong Kong. Yeah, China was like, oh wait, you have some good advancement, military.
Fair.
But right, I guess we went slightly off.
Topic, ran in a random tangent.
Went from Wakanda to China, but I'm just saying the similarities between China and Wakanda. I think.
Well, I think if you're going to compare Wakanda to anywhere in the MCU, it's I recently watched Thor Ragnarok again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking is Asgard kind of the white equivalent? Because it's very old school. They got these magical powers. It's very much like one race in a way.
I mean, that's not weird though.
It's not weird, but it's just kind of it's interesting to contrast them a bit, and see if they can be compared in that way. But
I think you're right. I think they can be. But talking on Thor, what do you think of Thor in Avengers? Because I know a lot of people that, well, one, really enjoy him, think he's fun, but a lot of people have said something along the lines, I think they're making light of PTSD and his depression. Yeah. I think it's only making light of his depression, PTSD, in a way where it's for the audience. I think it does well for his character. To portray it he's actually struggling. I think it's good to show he's struggling.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a funny guy, so them making jokes in that, it's not like a thing of saying, oh, he is a joke going through this PTSD. It's kind of he's a funny character, and it's a contrast to him being this fit athlete to being an obese gaming nerd, basically.
Yeah, and also the interesting thing is some people I've heard basically say, they wanted him to, when he fights Thanos at the end. And he puts his beard into the little
and it just
when
switches.
when he did that, people said, I wanted him to turn back into physically strong Thor. Yeah. But I thought, well, it's been 5 years and he lived his life like this. You can't just. It's not a good message, I think. If you just say, snap your fingers and now he's got to work to get back.
I agree completely. If he just switched back, it's kind of that's more insulting, if anything, because that's kind of just saying that his issues with being fat and being depressed and everything, they can just be solved instantly, and he's
exactly. It's I think it's good, and it also shows that that's not how you deal with depression or anxiety or PTSD, which he's struggling with. You have to. That's a long journey.
Yeah, but I mean, if you compare that to say Iron Man's journey with PTSD.
Yeah, in Iron Man 3, which I think they did a really good job with.
I think they did
really good.
that better, but that's just because that was the focus of the film.
But also, you got to remember the reason why I think people make similarities between that. Say, oh look, they didn't make fun of Iron Man with it when he had like panic attacks. No one's like Rocket slapped Thor when he was saying he's having a panic attack.
Yeah.
But with Iron Man, they don't make light of it. They treat it as a serious issue.
Well, that's what the film was about.
Yeah, exactly. It's Iron Man's journey alone. There's no one there to slap him.
Yeah.
Rocket is that type of character. Rocket is his character. He's going, even with Iron Man, he'd slap anyone and think, stop acting like a baby.
To be fair, there were jokes pulled at Iron Man when he was going through it, because he had that little kid who was basically like, oh, he was kind of making fun of him himself having PTSD. He's like, oh, you've just caused me to have a panic attack now.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think Thor was it was an interesting turn to take him. I thought it felt very realistic. It felt like he would obviously be dealing with that trauma after he feels the most responsible, because he literally did the killing blow and could have just, if he went for his head, would have stopped it all. Like with Iron Man, he feels responsible, but because Quill basically buggered that up.
But also, like, Thor's got that god complex in some ways almost more than Iron Man, because Iron Man's got that god complex of being basically the best human out there, and Thor's got that thing of being part of the royal family and being in line to the throne. So he's had that since he was a baby.
The interesting thing about that, because I really like how they addressed Iron Man and Captain America's like conflicts from Civil War, when they met again. He said, you said you'd be there. That's past tense,
Yeah, instead of just like they could have easily brushed it over and like, oh, they've got a major conflict now they're friends. Whereas they had to address it really to do it properly.
I think it shows their differences so well. Steve is so willing to just be an Avenger. He's more important on doing what's right and morally right instead of technically just saving lives. He thinks, so long as you're doing what's right and then you go and do your part, that's enough. Whereas Iron Man is more intent on saving and stopping bad things happening.
Yeah.
At the cost of...
Which you think would be the opposite, because of Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. But it's obviously what he's been through. Like basically in Winter Soldier, which I think might be my favourite MCU film, the second Captain America film. They address it there, with the helicarriers.
Yeah.
Targeting all the people when it's Hydra, when they find out that.
And see that video.
Yeah, video.
On YouTube where somebody was talking about that exact thing, and the helicarriers, and then talking about how Captain America comes back to the America that it wasn't when he left it, and it's got this big brother eye, which is the helicarriers.
Oh, right, yeah, essentially that then.
Yeah,
I think it's just it's just summed up their characters so well, and obviously Civil War did that. And then Endgame, I think, because that's what Endgame was. It kind of tied all the knots.
Yeah, it tied up everything, and then the best thing was the person that ended Endgame was the person that started it. Yeah,
and also it was such a nice, because I thought it might be a bit cringy when he said, "Oh, I am Iron Man," because it doesn't really fit with, because he said, "I am inevitable," and he said, "I am Iron Man." It's not quite the same.
No, but
because it's the way he ends the first Iron Man film. Iron Man, it's just such, I don't know.
It rounds the whole thing. He is Iron Man.
I was disappointed I didn't cry when because I love him 3000 at least. Iron Man's such a great character, and we've been on such a long journey with him. I wasn't actually sad when he died. I was more
he's going to rest,
more
rest
like
as a character as well, not only
that it's just such a nice way for his character to end and not be dragged through unnecessarily through more films just for money. I think it's a nice way to end his character.
You could easily just see him like, oh, he's gonna have his family now, and then he'd like pop in Spider-Man films, and it would be like, oh, but now it's like that might even be addressed in the new Spider-Man film, Iron Man's death. That could be probably really cool.
One thing I don't understand, and maybe I'm just being stupid, but isn't there a 5-year age gap? Because I said this to you on in the car ride back from the first time we saw it, the midnight showing. Yeah. So you have like everyone that comes back is 5 years, hasn't aged, but they're coming 5 years into their future, into the present. So Spider-Man, for example, is what? Let's say he's 15 or 16. Ooh. He comes back into the future, into 5 years into the future. Now on his birthday when he was born, he's now 21. Instead of being 16.
Yeah.
So how do they deal with that? And also, when he comes and sees his friend in school, if they've been there, wouldn't they be 5 years older now? And they've been a different year in school.
They've got to just brush past it, because You can't really like
So
break down the logic of like the Infinity Gauntlet. Like even when they first bring it up as a snap, I didn't think it'd be a literal snap, and then it was a snap.
Yeah, true.
I think like you could arguably say like, oh, when he snaps them back, they've got 5 years added onto their life, or you could say when they're snapped back, it was just literally they were in this insane world and they were brought back, and no time passed for them. So we don't know how it exactly works.
Also, I don't think that would work, because even if you add 5 years onto their life, they haven't lived 5 years experience wise.
No.
So they come back, because Spider-Man said it, to Iron Man. He's like, oh, and then Doctor Strange came to the circle thing, and we jumped through, and he's like, oh, we need to go, and he basically says it like he's just woken up.
Yeah.
Which is very clear that that's just happened. So
yeah, well, they could just add 5 years on, like physically in terms of age. That's what the click could be. Like, it could be not. It doesn't have to be that they experienced 5 years.
I don't know. I think maybe they're just gonna ignore it. It would be.
Yeah,
to be honest, I don't know if they will, because Marvel seems like the type of company that would embrace it and go, oh, this is what we're doing. It makes it more interesting. You have different, like, same with like Loki, disappearing with the Tesseract, the Space Stone.
Yeah.
In that alternate reality now, they can use that to show Loki being alive and do stuff with him, because they're doing a TV show, aren't they, with him?
Yeah, I don't know. You never know with Marvel what they're going to do. You can just roughly predict it and then have the idea where you want it to be and just hope that they go in that direction.
Yeah, but did we actually ever talk about A-Force?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We did talk about how people think it's pandering.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we talk about it specifically, but cool people I know that are women. They're not two
They
white
wouldn't
men.
be invited to the podcast.
Yeah, well, they could be guests. And basically, they were saying they thought it was pandering as well when they showed all the women together. Because, when Spider-Man said, oh, how are you going to get through that? Well, basically, she didn't need anyone. She could just do it herself, which is very clear. But they're like, oh, we'll help. And then they showed all the, basically, the A-Force. And that's what they're going for. But I think in the political climate, it just makes it look...
Yeah, well, I think the way that they had to do it is at the end of the day, is Avengers, for a lot of good reasons, was made to please a lot of people. And in the way it is at the moment with the climate, if you didn't have a moment like that, people were going to be pissed off about it, but people would be disappointed as well, because there's going to be a lot of female audiences who will bring up issues and like things we've written about. Like
there's so many female characters in it.
I know, but they might.
Unnecessary.
I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't some articles written now already saying about how little Captain America's featured in it.
Captain America?
Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's a story problem. That's not a female male problem.
People would say that. They'd say like how little, but because they had that moment in there, it kind of clears them, And a lot of people will be talking about how Avengers is.
Do you think Marvel was doing kind of to protect themselves?
Yeah, I think it's half and half. It's to protect themselves, and it's also to make sure everybody enjoys the film.
Yeah,
and to do that,
they
had to do it that way.
Yeah, I don't think they had to do it that way. I think
more to get as many people. That's what it is. They're casting a large net.
Every girl I've spoken to has said that they thought that moment was pandering to women. That they thought like, oh yeah, here you go, get all the women together. Like, oh, they don't need the men now.
Yeah,
I get the idea behind it, and there are some women out there that will go, oh yeah, female empowerment and stuff. But I think it's just so on the nose. It's just so.
Yeah.
At the moment in Infinity War, oh, she's not alone. That's probably as perfect as you can get for that moment. Still, maybe some people might find it a bit too on the nose as well. Like, oh, she's not alone now. Like, all the women are going to save her.
Yeah.
But there's only like 3 of them, and it's just they happen to be there. I think that's fine.
Well, one of the things I just found annoying about that moment as well is it's just Pepper Potts as like Iron Man.
Yeah, because they kind of showed him building her that.
Yeah,
at the start.
Then it's also like, yeah, you can just fly now, like Rhodey, like War Machine.
Yeah.
I just build the suits and anyone can operate them.
Yeah, basically.
You can be a superhero.
Why doesn't he upgrade War Machines? Like
I'm glad that he does.
It's like a Mark III though. Like, why didn't he just build him like at least his version now with nanobots?
Yeah, I'm glad that his isn't upgraded though, because at the end of the day, screw him over.
He's not.
Yeah,
he's not earned it.
He's not earned it.
That's what I mean. That's why I feel a bit like Captain Marvel. She's not earned taking down the ship. She's not earned taking the gauntlet.
Powers,
I don't think she was the one that should have taken the gauntlet at the end. I think it should have been given to someone else. Someone that, one, needs the help to get across.
Yeah.
because Captain Marvel can do it on her own. Spider-Man saying, how are you going to get through that? Well, one, she could just fly up and then over and then back down. She didn't have to go through them. And also, flying through 100, minions, Thanos' minions, is a lot easier than flying through the ship and and getting shot by all those cannons. I mean, come on, it's a little.
She's way too overpowered as well.
When she first came in, I started fighting him, and he threw her away. I was like, okay, thank goodness, because the way he dispatches Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, all three of them together, I was like, she can't just come in and start kicking the crap out of him. And then she gets back up, and then he headbutts her. And I was like, you're not Superman. Come on, you can't just tank ahead. Like, what are her powers? I thought she could shoot beams and she could fly.
She's
and
like
energy,
light based. Yeah,
exactly. So when did she become tanky?
I think because it's sort of this magical photon power, and photons are supposed to be.
I get. Her powers from an Infinity Stone. I get that, but Vision, who actually had the Mind Stone on him at all times, he couldn't do anything like that. And hers is the Space Stone. It's not like she has the Power Stone. I don't know. It seems like they're going a bit too over the top with her.
Yeah.
Because also in the comics, she's not as powerful as Thor.
No. Well, the comics have changed a lot from MCU anyway.
Yeah, I don't mind them going off the comics. It doesn't bother me. But they are all based off the comics. I think they should have some link to them at least. I don't know. Do you think the reason why Captain Marvel is so powerful in the films is because she's a woman and they're trying to make a point, or do you think it's just?
I don't think just because she's a woman. I feel like if somebody else has been added to the roster, they have to have some sort of gimmick to step them up to this level that we've already got. Yeah. You couldn't have a War Machine film.
Like, put it this way: do you think Captain Marvel could have snapped the gauntlet and survived?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and I think that was just a bit crap.
Yeah,
because Thor probably would have died. Probably wouldn't have died the same way that Iron Man did, but he might have. I don't know. Yeah, but he said something about the gamma radiation, like it's meant for him.
Yeah.
And Hulk is obviously basically he's more indestructible than Thor.
Yeah.
Also Thanos, I don't really like. He seemed a lot more powerful in this film than Infinity War.
I think that he's like it's kind of in his prime when because he's traveled back in time, so he's from. When he's trying to get all the stones, and he's got both of his daughters working for him. He's got armies, he's building everything up.
Also, he's pretty pissed off.
Yeah, and he's pissed off because he feels that they're won, cheating, and they're cheating. So.
Which they are. I mean,
they are kind of cheating.
Come on, guys, play it fair. Yeah. Thanos won. Just
accept it.
Do you think? I mean, 5 years is nowhere near long enough for people to get over it. But do you think people would just continue to? They had it with was it Anthony Russo, one of the directors, in the little with Captain America at the start, the little
PTSD.
Yeah, the group. Yeah. And he's saying, we went on a date. He cried, and then I cried at dessert and stuff like that. Do you think 5 years after, people would still be crying?
Yeah,
like that, just over.
I feel like they would. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Would you?
Depends how much it affect me. If
you and I went on a date, would you cry at dessert or the mains?
I would cry at neither.
Neither, okay. Yeah. I'm not worth it.
You're not worth it. I'm sorry to say, Jake.
I don't know, personally, I just think people would move on.
I don't think so. It's all about how much it affects you, because it's like, for some people, like Iron Man, all he lost was Spider-Man. That was it. That was enough.
Oh, you heartless bastard! You saw that scene when they get reunited. Don't tell me you didn't too.
He was like, whatever, mate. I didn't even like you that much. Glad you're back, though.
Yeah, you talk too much.
Yeah, screw you, Spider-Man. Then when Spider-Man died in Infinity War, spoilers. That was like I don't think Iron Man actually cared, to be honest.
Should not mind. Because basically that's the reason why Iron Man solved time travel, was because of Spider-Man. The loss to him. And also, do you not think he solved it a bit too easily?
Yeah, and you just like, what was the
thing?
What
was stopping him before?
He just he chucked an image on the screen of a Mobius strip.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Mobius strip, that's sciencey.
No, inverted.
Inverted.
They inverted it as well, yeah.
Oh, that's mixing up even more. So your normal sciencey word, Mobius strip, inverted.
Yeah, and invert that and get this element right here and put it over here.
Yeah. Well, it would have been interesting. the difference is whether like it would affect the story or just make it make more sense. But they could have said like, oh, here's all Ant-Man's research, here's
the thing.
here's all that.
I think if they had Hank Pym, if they had him survive
and work with Iron Man,
that would have made so much sense.
It would have made more sense.
Their science put together, Stark and Pym, like they could solve that. I could believe that. But Stark, what's stopping him from solving it like 2 years earlier or 5 years? Yeah. If he can solve time travel, what can't he solve?
Maybe there was a scene where he got the research, because that's the only reason I can say that he didn't solve it earlier. Because he was focusing on his family.
Why? I mean, like 5 years, this has been going on, and he hasn't attempted to solve it. Or if he has attempted to solve it, for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to. They come over, Scott Lang, Captain America, blah blah blah. They all come over and try to talk him into it, and he's like, "No, I'm not interested. Like, it doesn't work. You can't solve it." And then he has a go, third attempt or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, we've solved it."
Yeah.
What changed? Like, what?
I think it was just like, I think the way they were trying to go about it is that he, just like everyone else, dealt with it in a different way. And for him, it was about, this is my excuse to have a family and settle down now. This is my time to do it, and I'm gonna forget about my old life, forget about being a superhero. Because I tried to do that, and it hurt too much when I failed. So I'm going to try and win at having a family and have a life.
Also, I noticed something on the second time viewing it. Pepper Potts at the end said, "Oh, you can rest now."
Yeah.
Well, not at the start, but when he solves time travel, he says, "Oh, I can put a pin in it right now."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Will you be able to rest?
Will you be able to rest? Because he said, "Oh, and go to bed and just leave it."
Yeah, that was how it ties in together.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. And I didn't notice that the first time. Second time, I was like, "Oh." That's there's just so much. The writing is so good. I can't remember who wrote Endgame. There's 2 people, I think. I can't remember their names. We'll maybe put it up on screen. But like, they did an excellent job.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, there's
the way everything ties together is maybe they need to work on Captain Marvel's lines. Give her something she can actually deliver, because she does. Anyway, let's not get on to Captain Marvel.
We've been talking for like 27 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Or if you want to wrap up Endgame and then move on to the next topic,
okay,
you can do that.
So, how are we going to wrap up our thoughts? Okay, overall thoughts on Endgame was that I enjoyed it. It's good, and it tied up the series nicely. And if they do anything more with the MCU, it's probably going to be shit now.
Yeah, I do agree. I think this is the end for the MCU for me personally. I was
phase 3, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was a kid when not a kid, I guess, but I was 13 when Iron Man came out. I've seen that film so many times. I had it downloaded on my laptop, and I rewatched it. So legally, obviously.
Yeah. Come on.
just saying.
Close one there.
I watched that so many times. It's such it's just so good. Even Iron Man 2, I love that, and that's not a great film. It's got its moments.
Yeah.
And
I liked all the Iron Man films.
This is like Thor 2. It's not good.
It didn't happen.
I love the Loki's and Thor's relationship in that. They have a good brotherly
Thor 2 didn't
relationship.
You just ignore that one.
Yeah, good point. But with that being said, I think Endgame just ties all of that together so perfectly. It's such a good ending point, and for a lot of people that have watched it from the very start, I think that'll be their end to the MCU. They may watch. Keep watching, but nothing personally for me, I think, will live up to that.
No, it's so nice as well that if it was anything else, and if it was like the 3rd film in a trilogy, I'd be like, oh shit, this is over. But because you can go watch the whole of the MCU up to that point, there's so much content. You can just go through them all again and again, and there's still more information. And like, you could go back and watch Thor 1 and see how drastically different he is as a character.
And also, what you can do now is, because of the time travel, you can go watch the original films where they go back to and see it from like a different angle. Because one of the bits I really liked was when Hulk, basically when they went back to Avengers 1 and Hulk was pretending to be angry and like hit things. Yeah, I just love that. It just shows the growth of the characters and what the...
Imagine if they layered it in and then like in the background shot.
You could see.
Yeah, they haven't done that. No, people would have pointed that out.
Yeah,
already.
They wouldn't.
It'd be too obvious.
That would be some incredible foresight from
George Lucas or something like that, and he'll CGI in it.
Maybe. But that's another thing. I don't. You're not a big Star Wars fan, but what was that beat? That's scary. Not battery, was it? SD card. Is it still going?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're not the biggest Star Wars fan, are you?
No.
No, but personally, the sequel trilogy for me has done the exact opposite of what they should have done, and what they should have done was Endgame.
Yeah,
It should have.
that was
It should have like the first one, Episode 7, maybe even Episode 8, should have closed off the original trilogy. Had the original characters, kind of given them a proper farewell, which I don't think it did at all. And now they're still using them in Episode 9, and just feels like a mess that they don't know how to solve.
I think.
Whereas Endgame just ties it all together, and then now they can do their new story.
But I think though, if they did Endgame with Star Wars, it just wouldn't work because they're all the different characters, aren't they? It wouldn't make sense. Like, well, Iron Man coming into the Star Wars universe. If they did Endgame,
come on.
with Star Wars, I don't see it happening. It's just unrealistic.
Okay, yeah, I get your point. Yeah, you can't have Iron Man coming in.
No, like imagine.
That's not my point.
Thanos is like, all right, Darth Vader, mate. He's like,
right, Darth Vader's dead. You clearly don't know Star Wars.
no.
Although apparently now,
time travel.
Well, apparently they're bringing everyone back now.
Apparently Thanos was dead in Endgame.
Well, they brought back Sidious somehow. So I know that they haven't ruined enough original characters. Now they want to bring back Sidious and ruin him as well.
Maybe Thanos, once he works out time travel, brings back Darth Vader.
How is Thanos going to work out? He's not Iron Man.
Well, he travelled to the future,
and also,
didn't he?
you know, Rocket said, I think it was when Iron Man called him Ratchet or something.
Yeah.
And he went, "Oh, you're only a genius on Earth." Or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, is he? He solved time travel.
I know.
Do you think anyone else?
But to be fair, Rocket's
in the
pretty
universe?
intelligent, though.
Yeah.
It's like
Did he solve time travel though?
He could have done.
No, he did, but he didn't though, did he?
He might have done.
No, he didn't.
In an alternate reality.
No.
You never know.
I don't know. But okay, yeah. Let's not talk any more about Endgame.
Just before we get on to another topic, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Okay, we are back and better than ever.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
I've got another cup of tea. You don't,
I
because coffee makes you go a bit mental.
Yeah, this is my third cup of coffee, so I'm not gonna have anything more.
Yeah, pretty good. But yeah, the next thing we wanted to talk about was something that you.
Well, I thought we were gonna do the memes first, and then that one.
You want to. I thought we were talking about serious topics here.
Okay, fine. We'll go on to a more serious topic then.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, it was. Unless you want to make it a bit lighter.
Okay. Well, no. We'll talk. We'll finish off with something lighter. Okay. So, what do you want to bring us into this topic then?
It is your topic, but sure. So Staffordshire, in Staffordshire University, they're making a men's right group.
Yeah. So at Staffordshire University, I knew somebody who went there.
Yeah. Definitely wasn't you.
No. Because it definitely wasn't me. Anyway,
we'll just bring up what actually happens. So essentially, is a women's rights group.
Yeah.
Shut down a men's rights. Well, the startup of a men's rights group.
Yeah. So they were trying to start up a sort of. It wasn't going to be like a main men's rights only group or something like that, but it was going to be focusing on men's rights and. At the university pub, they were holding an opening thing for the club and a petition for people to sign. Then it was protest so much at this university that, it's right next to us, was protest so much that the club was shut down and they never did anything for it. And
I think that is disgusting. And also it's amazing that you have this actual personal connection with it, that you saw it happen.
Yeah.
This is something you hear about and don't really think it's a problem.
You hear it in the news and you think, oh, it's the minority, and you hear about these things like, oh, men's rights did this, feminists do that, and when people say that like feminism, it's
about equality.
Yeah, feminism is about equality, and this modern day wave of radical feminism is just something a bit on the rare side. It doesn't happen very often, but then you see it right in your neighborhood. You see
this is just a women's rights group.
Yeah.
It's nothing like they're not. They don't tarnish themselves with the brush of, oh, we are extreme feminists. They think they're just acting as.
Yeah, it was just stupid. The whole idea as well that it's insulting or it's bad to have a men's rights group, or that it's somehow sexist as well. It's like saying that men's rights are not an important thing to have there, because the only people that need these extra rights or have these situations of sexism and all that are women. It's just.
It really does annoy me. It's kind of depressing as well if you think about it. That they're basically saying, well, men's issues aren't important. Let's solve all the other issues, and then maybe if you're lucky,
Well,
we'll look
that's
at
the
them.
way it seems. This seems to be that they're just saying like, oh, the issues that men face are not important,
Yeah.
not as important as what women face.
You know, like fathers losing their children, custody battles,
Yeah.
and you know, even when I thought this when it's not off topic, but it's a bit random. It's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay.
And I was rewatching it. I know
Yeah.
it does link into it. I think.
Sure.
In Mrs. I mean, I know it's fiction, but in Mrs. Doubtfire, you know, the dad loses custody to his children, loses basically all rights. He sees them once. He's allowed to see them once a week. He is struggling to get a job because he's doing like freelance stuff and he works on like films and stuff as like a voice actor.
Yeah.
And his wife basically never sees the kids. She's too busy. She's like a lawyer, and so he's always there looking after the kids. And he doesn't get custody because the judge says you need to get a job. You need to show you can provide for them. If you spin that the other way around, you have the man that's a lawyer, barely sees his kids, obviously loves them as well.
Yeah.
And then the mother doesn't have a job. Well, she had the job, but it's not paying enough. She doesn't have enough work, but she's always looking after the kids. Do you think that judge would say to the woman, go get a job, go show you can provide for the family, and then you can think about, think about having, the rights to your kids back? It just wouldn't happen, would it?
It's just one of these issues that people don't think about with custody rights.
Yeah, that's just one issue that men face. The highest suicide rate.
Yeah,
and young
people
men
don't even like. One of the things which is a bit annoying as well is you have the breast cancer run, and men can be affected by breast cancer.
Yeah, but they're not even allowed to run in it.
Yeah,
are they?
Men aren't allowed to run in that. It's only women that are allowed to run, and that is a bit sexist. And not only that is the money that's raised for breast cancer versus prostate and testicular cancer is vastly different. Like, prostate cancer is something that actually only affects men.
Yeah, and also it's an interesting thing with that. A lot of men die because they don't have the courage to actually go and get checked. Whereas, that is a massive issue which just doesn't seem to be.
It's just all sorts of
feminists don't seem to care about.
That's one of the things that annoys me the most. The fact that, like, if there's a feminist or even like just somebody out there who may identify with the term feminism, they just say, "Oh, grow up," be a man or something like that, because a man is showing emotions, and it's that idea that they somehow have the right to tell you how to feel. And not only that, they judge you for it, for feeling this way, and then judge your sexuality and judge your gender just because of that. That pissed me off more than anything.
Yeah, it is crazy. But the thing I was going to mention was, we knew someone who identified as a feminist. Well, we know a few people that identify as feminists. Most of the women I know think, the modern wave of feminism is stupid. It's all one-sided. It's not for equality. It's for women getting what they want and pushing men down, basically. But we knew some that didn't believe that. They believed that they were feminists. But is it something wrong with the camera?
Yeah, just give us a sec. Just remember what you said. So
it's already gone out my head.
It's a memory card.
Oh, okay. Well, if we put a pin in it, see if we can rest, and then
I could just swap out the card.
Yeah, we'll just continue. Where do you want to continue from? Just basically talk about people we know.
Yeah.
But not name any names.
Can name names.
No.
Okay.
Do we back up?
Okay, we are back.
Yeah. Slight issue with
camera.
Yeah. So we got a very talented woman to come in and fix it for us.
Oh yeah. You can't say that.
I'm joking. That does actually make me sound sexist.
It does. It does make you sound sexist.
Maybe we'll cut that out.
Yeah. No, we won't cut it out.
Okay.
People have to know.
I'm not sexist.
Okay.
But yeah, we knew some people that were identified as feminists. Even in our modern climate, and they saw it as equality because they asked me and asked you. They said, "Oh, are you a feminist?" And I said,
"We had to lie."
Well, I said no, I'm not a feminist. And she said, she was really aghast by it. She was like, well, you don't believe in equality? I was like, oh, of course. If you ask me, do I believe in equality? Then yes, of course I do. But modern feminism isn't.
I just
based
like
on
if I
equality.
get asked that, I just have to say I don't identify with the term, or I don't call myself a feminist, but I believe in equal rights, and I don't have a problem with somebody identifying themselves as a feminist, because as long as their values are equal, then that's fine with me.
But the thing is, with feminism, it's based on getting them equal. It's not about equaling everything. It's about them getting all the things that they're not equaling.
Yeah, it's a focus on women's rights. Exactly. That's what it is, and
which is fine.
Yeah, it's
you
fine.
need rights
just
for each.
Don't talk about it being like it's about equality of the sexes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like on. Do you hear about the thing on? It was an International Women's Day where they were going to remove all the men off air on like TV shows.
Oh it's an Australian thing.
Yeah, because Australia's like messed up with their.
It's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and it's worse than it is here in the UK. And here in the UK, it's pretty bad.
Well, it's like that whole thing with the Red Pill.
Yeah,
the Red Pill film.
the documentary.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite documentaries, Red Pill, just because of the story it took to make it. It's about a feminist called Cassie J, and it's her journey from making several very feministy, not in a bad way, films and being in news articles for women, and then she hears about the men's rights movement and she decides to make a documentary on it, and she comes from a place of wanting to hate it and hate all these men, and then she documents herself and her journey as she grows to understand the movement a lot more, and then by the end of the documentary she decides to not call herself a feminist anymore. And it's a very, very, very good documentary just because of growing as a person, and it's so real.
Is she Australian?
She's not Australian, she's American.
Okay, but she was in Australia.
Yeah, but the issue with Australia is that the film was banned in a lot of cinemas across Australia, and then she was also featured on a few news networks, but her content was edited down. The people that interviewed her didn't watch her film, even though she sent them several copies, and then they tried to make it as if it was her fault.
Yeah.
And even one of them cut out parts of an interview to make her seem sexist.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, I just don't understand the issue with just raising both.
Yeah.
Both problems, both sides of the coin. It's just this focus on. Cause I really don't understand. It was in like the Women's March in America. I was watching some stuff on that, and actually my mum was watching some stuff, and she was telling me about it. Basically, I then watched it. The people would be going up, like, interviewing women on the march and asking them what they're there for, and they'd say, "Oh, we're here for women's rights." And they go, "Oh, okay. Well, what do you think women are lacking in this modern day?"
Yeah.
They didn't have an answer for it.
It sounds like a loaded question, though.
It obviously is a loaded question, but it is a simple question that if you're there for women's rights, you think you can. Like, personally, what do you think? I mean, there are obviously things that, but like the wage gap isn't one.
No, the wage gap is non-existent from everything that I've seen and everything I've read.
So the jobs gap, that's what it is. A wages from different jobs. If you choose a specific field, you're going to get paid more in that field than another field. And it just has to be that there are more men going into those fields.
I think, like, in terms of the issues for men and women, it's women have more issues day to day, and then men have more issues long term. So like, for example, a woman walking down the street being catcalled, or issues like because of the way that relationships work, and the whole thing of a guy hitting on a girl, and that's how the start of a relationship is bloomed. Because of that, there is going to be people who don't do it correctly, and it will be sexist and it will be harsh, and there'll be people who see this way of you got to be this strong man to approach a woman and be this player, essentially, and women like that, and women like being the passive role. That there's going to be more sexism day to day because of that.
But then a lot of women aren't finding men because they want to be the dominant one as well, I think.
Yeah.
Where they're just pushing off a lot of men and kind of closing the doors, I think. Which is which is why it's creating a lot of hate between, like, those, like, what you call, like, a man hater.
Yeah.
Those type of people.
But then, like, that's the day-to-day stuff, and then, like, the long-term stuff that men deal with, it's kind of like the pressure to not go to the doctors, not to deal with your health.
So I need to go to the doctor as well.
I do as well. To not deal with, like, mental health as well, because they have in statistics, more women attempt to commit suicide than men, but more men actually do commit suicide.
We're just better at doing it, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
We don't mess about.
No, if we try to do something, we do it to the end.
Yeah, we do it right.
Yeah, we do it.
If you want to do it, someone do it. Get a man to do it.
Yeah, like killing himself. Oh god, that's bad.
But yeah, they that's a real statistic that a lot like feminists would just
gloss over.
They just won't. Same with like homeless people.
Yeah,
like homeless men. There's so many. I don't know what the ratio is, but there's so many more homeless men than women.
Yeah, it's just a lot of these issues are very important, real issues that get ignored. And we're not saying that women's issues are invalid and not equally important.
We're saying they're as valid as each other.
Yeah, they're as valid as each
other. But the
other.
point is, a men's right group or the starting of one, because things like this don't start if there's no need for them.
No,
they just won't happen. People won't go to them. But the fact is, they started a men's right group. People were going to it, and then it got shut down by by women, feminists, saying it's not needed. It's not, for example, if men told these women if something isn't needed, you go, oh, your opinion isn't valid. You're a man, you don't know what you're talking about. Whereas for them, they can tell men that their men's right group isn't needed.
Yeah, I think when you boil it down, it's kind of. I think that a lot of the feminists, they'll be shutting down these groups because they feel that it invalidates them. And they feel that
it's taking the limelight off them.
Yeah, and it's also saying that the issues that women face, there's similar issues that men face, and that like women aren't actually oppressed.
But they'll just trivialize men's issues. Like, what do you have to deal with? They won't look at them properly.
No, they're like, I was grabbed at a club or something like that, and then that's a real issue that women have to deal with, and that is shit. It's like, what have you dealt with? And it's kind of like I say, it's the long term and the short term.
Ours aren't things you can go, oh well, here's one very specific scenario that happened to me.
Yeah. I mean, I can talk about certain things like there was this film shoot that somebody I know was on.
Oh yeah.
And it was basically he was filming in a park. And it was a kids park, and
Mike, we all know it's you.
Okay,
we know you're a paedophile.
Well, you can't even say that.
I mean, I just did. So
okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to finish the story now. But
no, basically, Mike was filming. In a park, not even filming the children. He was just filming what the swing set.
Yeah, so there was this scene where there's going to be a kids on a swing set.
Yeah,
and
the actor that you had.
The actor,
you had the agreement from the parents. Everything was signed off on.
And then when I got there, the actor wasn't turning up. I tried to call his brother, and it was taking a long time to sort out. It still wasn't happening. Nothing was happening. And then because I had a camera off to the side, it wasn't even properly set up or anything. It was still waiting. People, like one parent approached me and got very aggressive and angry with me because he thought that like I was filming his kids or being essentially a paedophile. Yeah. And I know if like there was my girlfriend at the time or a woman doing the same thing, people would have glossed it off.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Because there was like a similar situation before where a granddad in America was taking his grandson out to the park and he was just sitting on the bench there and the police were actually phoned.
Really?
Yeah. Because they had this old creepy man staring at kids at the park, and it's like, no, he's just taking his grandson out.
Yeah, and
it's people always have that assumption that men are bad and that men are the criminals, and that you've got to be wary of them.
It's like the I really didn't really want to bring it up, the Gillette commercial.
Oh, it's old news.
That is, I know it's old news, but that basically just puts everything in a very easily consumable like package to show what is wrong with like the view of men at the moment, how these feminists view men anyway, like the toxic masculinity crap and all, how men are these bad people that need to be taught how to do, how to be a good woman basically. And it's just like,
it's like that recent thing that I just showed Jake earlier, which was saying about there are courses apparently to educate men.
It was like $800 and something dollars
to educate men to do with their toxic masculinity, and
probably taught by a woman.
Yeah. Even if it was taught by a guy, it'd be shit as well.
Like I said, I think it might even be worse if it's taught by a man.
Yeah. It's that idea that men are born bad and need to be educated to be better.
It's basically the same. Well, femininity, that's fine. Masculinity, no, that's not fine. No. But these are intrinsic things that men and women have. You can't, for example, not all men are masculine in the same way. You know,
No.
we're men, and someone could be, I don't know, more camp, less dominant than another person. They're still just as much as a man as any other man.
Yeah.
That's not what makes you a man. But the fact is, we do rely on this like masculine structure for our, how we
and masculinity, like it occurs in women as well, and it shouldn't be something
masculine trait.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be something that every human has the right to be feminine or masculine, and one shouldn't be branded as evil or harsh.
Exactly.
Or, some people are inherently masculine and they're women, and some people are inherently feminine and they're men, or some people are inherently masculine as men.
Yeah, exactly. But they treat it like masculinity is just.
Yeah, it's
a dark force in the world.
Evil,
exactly. That and the Gillette advert just. I mean, it's very nice to see that so many people hated it. Yeah. I think the average person, personally, I do hope. Well, we're just average people. I think agree with us. Everyone I've spoken to, even like if you speak to feminists, they see where you're coming from. Not like extreme feminists.
Well, they got to see where you're coming from with it, because like with the Gillette ad, it wasn't like a big issue where. It was blatantly obviously bad. It was kind of one of those things where it was just very subtle, and it was by a company that sells things to men. Yeah, and they were kind of saying that we need to put each other right. Come on, guys.
Come on, man. You can do better.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's just like you need to. Because they literally say you need to hold other men accountable. Because they use the Terry Crews thing, which his was an actual issue, and they use it out of context. He was talking about men assaulting men. Sexually, that's an issue, and that's a big issue that men face as well, like especially in prison, which is another thing that's overlooked. That's a whole, let's not get into that. But they use it out of context and basically say that men are bad people, men are what is wrong in society, and that's
it makes
why
the people that are the ones that holding other men accountable seem like the minority, instead of the minority. Just like in women of men is bad. Like you have bad women. And
these men
are
so bad. They're the minority. Like the rapists, the sexual assaulters. These men are the minority. The other men, we are holding them accountable. No one says, "Oh, you raped someone. Good job, Bill." No, nobody says that. They're creating like a fault. I don't understand. They're just creating like a falsality.
I mean, you shouldn't associate with Bill anymore as well.
Yeah, no, we should get him off the podcast. Really.
Yeah, but it's like that scene where they're all at the barbecue. If it was only like a sea of people at the barbecue, and there was one guy being a little bit of a dickhead and being a little bit sexist.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, but they're all saying it, and it's kind of just like
there's no dad, right? I mean, I won't say that. I'm sure there'll be some dads, but 90%, like the vast majority of dads, if they see their children fighting, their child fighting another child, actually physically fighting, they will step in and intervene. No one wouldn't. But the fact is, if they're just play fighting, they're just play fighting. They're not fighting each other. It's just they're messing about. Every kid does that.
But yes, it is old news, though.
It is old news.
It is old news.
Shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah, the new news is basically Avengers sexism.
Well, you got like Brie Larson with it. I mean, Brie Larson has been talked to death on YouTube.
Yeah, well,
but
the thing that pissed me off about Brie Larson was
the Wrinkle in Time thing.
The Wrinkle in Time thing. Because although that was quite a few years ago, and
it resurfaced.
Yeah, the only thing with that is like at the same time when I was watching it, I was thinking you can't blame her too much about it, because everybody's human and they have mistakes. At the end of the day, and you're always making mistakes, and to make mistakes is good, so you can learn from them and improve on. And it wasn't as bad as some people made it out to be.
I wouldn't say she's learned from it.
No, but
I mean, her press tour for Captain Marvel, she was saying she wants it to be more diverse.
Yeah,
by removing people from it. Yeah. And also she said, I'm not talking about taking seats away from the table, adding more. Well, there are a limited amount of seats, so when you add more seats, other seats are going to have to be taken away.
Yeah, when is that?
It's I don't know, it's very stupid.
I mean, at the end of the day, she's an actor, and her views, at the end of the day, aren't that important, because it's like how her acting ability.
Don't get me wrong, I think she's a good actress. I think she has done some really good roles. Yeah. She got an Oscar, for example.
Yeah.
But her as Captain Marvel, she just doesn't play it right. She can't carry off the banter. She comes across as
she's just got to grow into it. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she just grows into it.
Hopefully. But it's like the interviews with Chris Hemsworth and
that's the awkward.
I
watched that one.
Yeah, I've seen that. I just think he's trying to be playful with you, and then she
she's
takes
like, "I'm the
everything
best
personally.
stunt double,"
Yeah,
bullshit.
and also she has two stunt doubles. She's
Yeah.
basically saying, "Oh, that they don't exist. They don't do their job."
Maybe
Both her, put it this way, and they're female stunt doubles because they have to be to look like her.
Yeah.
Right? She's saying and undermining their work and saying that she does it all when she doesn't. She's lying. She does some stunts, but there are stunts that she can't do, and so they come and do it. She's now saying, "Oh, they don't exist. They don't do it." So she's lying and saying, "Oh, these other women, they're not as important as me. I'm breaking the glass ceiling. they're doing a proper job where they're putting their life on the line for an action film." And she's saying snarky remarks and getting paid.
Taking credit for it.
She's getting paid millions of dollars for it, and the stunt doubles getting paid that? No.
Well, I'm just hoping
it's just hypocritical.
She's growing into her own. That's what I'm hoping, because at the end of the day, she's jumping from somebody who's not super, super, super big, she's still big, into playing probably one of the biggest. It is the biggest female superhero role ever.
Well, I think Wonder Woman would be bigger. It's a much longer lasting character.
Yeah.
And the film, I don't know if the film made more. I won't say that, but we could get it up on screen. But the Wonder Woman film was better.
Well, I'm just like I say, I hope she just grows into it, because maybe she just doesn't know how to deal with the public eye. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, she has kind of. The thing is, the first Thor, for example, wasn't the greatest film.
No.
I don't think it was bad. It was
not
just a
really
passable
bad,
Marvel. No, it's a passable Marvel film. It's there's enjoyment to be had. You can kind of compare Captain Marvel to that. I think it's on a similar level to the first Thor film. The character doesn't really know what they're going for yet. They kind of try to jump her in at where like Thor is now and other characters are. That kind of like snarky and jokey, attitude and banter attitude. Whereas Thor didn't start off like that. He was very rigid. He was kind of like the straight man, like the.
Well, maybe it's just as the MCU grows itself. That's kind of like, it's not how Thor grew. That's how the MCU grew, because when Thor was first introduced, it was not that far away from times where you had stuff like Twilight and vampire stuff. I think Thor was trying to, like the original director, when he was like writing and developing Thor, he was thinking, "Oh, let's have him be this mysterious," He
was much more like the comics, though. The first Thor. So that's what they're going for. Whereas I think I haven't read the comics for Captain Marvel. I do apologize, but
I'm shocked.
But I feel like Captain Marvel, the film, isn't like the comic book. I feel like she's more in keeping with the films. Like they're trying to get her to where they are in the films. Because they don't want a boring, stoic. So, I mean, although she's a little stoic in her attitude.
Yeah. Well,
she's very stubborn. Which isn't always a bad thing.
No.
Her character, she just basically, her character arc is just get knocked down, get back up.
Yeah.
And then somehow fight harder than you could the first time. That's her character arc. It's every time she gets knocked down, she goes, "Oh, I'll get back up." Yeah. It's like the Captain America, I can do this all day.
It's kind of a bit like that, yeah. I feel like that's where she's going with a lot of it. But I don't want to talk too much on the Avengers, because we already covered that in that first 30 minutes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, but it's a good film,
Yeah. But the one thing that Brie Larson said, just as a last point,
yeah,
to go on it, was that she said, when she was talking about A Wrinkle in Time, which personally I think is quite an awful film.
Yeah, I've not seen it, but from what you said,
spoilers, it's awful.
Yeah. But you're a white man. Your opinion doesn't matter. It's not made for you.
That's true.
It's not made for you.
That's true.
It's made for what, women of color? Yeah. So you actually can't even comprehend with your white little man brain.
That is true. It is a very small white little man brain when it comes to women of color films. So.
Yeah, you just like Black Panther.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? You can't say you don't know. It's not made for you.
It's just stupid. It's like so basically what Brie Larson said is she was at a women's film festival, War Talk, and she said that if you're like the majority of reviewers out there, professional reviewers for films, are men, and the fact that Wrinkle in Time got bad reviews was because the film wasn't made for you. If you're a white man, it wasn't made for you. It was made for people of color. And it's like it said. I think she said it was like a love note or something to people of color. And at that time, it's kind of annoying. At the end of the day, like I say, I'm hoping that it's just a small comment and it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. but hopefully it can just be brushed past. But it was
for her sake anyway.
Yeah.
It's it really hasn't helped her.
No,
because no one's invincible. It will damage her career.
Yeah. It's just what sucked about it is it kind of just said that like, oh, films are made for a specific group, like a race
and no one else
something.
can
nobody can enjoy them, nobody can talk about them,
or
have
their
films
opinion
are made for
on
everyone.
Yeah. But there's people, these film critics, it's their job, and they critique film. It is a film, and they're critiquing it.
Yeah,
that's in their job description.
It's
the other parameters don't matter. They're judging it on a film, the quality of the film, not, for example, Infinity War. I personally think is a better film than Endgame. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Infinity War. I think it's really enjoyable.
I like Endgame,
but Endgame, there's so many enjoyable moments. How it ties everything together. It's so satisfying.
It's very satisfying.
So with critics, they could critique it as a film.
Yeah.
They don't have to take everything into account of how it's ending the 22 films or whatever.
Yeah.
They can just say, oh well, here, the pacing here, that's
that's their job.
Yeah, exactly, and that's fine. And that's what they're meant to do. And
it's supposed to be objective when
exactly, yeah, as objective as you can be when.
I guess you get different types of film reviewers. Some of them are very opinion based, but I think
of course,
when you break down the job, I think it's supposed to be an objective view.
Yeah, and Endgame having a slightly worse rating, like let's say like a 7 out of 10, wouldn't matter. What would you give it out of 10 personally? Like I've heard people give it a 9. It's not a 9.
You can't give anything a 9 or a 10.
Well, I mean, you can.
You can't. That's the rules. You can't break the rules.
So there's no film you think can get a 9 or 10.
No. You can't do that. That's just, and also like it has to,
or maybe not a 10. Obviously,
it has to
no film is perfect.
It has to mature over time. So it's like a fine wine. When you watch a film initially, it's like when Endgame came out, the initial ratings I think are like 9.8.
Yeah, but that's because everyone that came out of seeing it, like even Phantom Menace, when people finish watching that, they're like, "Oh, this is amazing!" Like 9.
Exactly. So it has to mature over time, and then you get to see how people review it. Like. There's a few films like Moon. I really like Moon. When it first came out, well, not when it first came out, but a few years after it came out, the ratings for it I think were like 7 or 6.8, and I was like, what? It's an amazing film. And now it's been a few years. If you look it up now, I think it's somewhere around like 7.6 or 7.7.
Yeah,
and it's very.
You
good.
look at films in a different way, don't you? Like the rating. You look at 5 as an average film.
That's how you're
5
supposed to do it.
5 is seen as bad.
Everyone, if you
5 is mediocre, but 5 is the average. It should be.
That's
so
how
really
you're supposed
7
to rate
now
it.
is the average.
7, if you want to see like, oh, I want to enjoy this film, it kind of has to be a 7.
Yeah, or like a high 6, 8.
Yeah, but the way that ratings are supposed to be done is that a 5 is a film that you can watch from beginning to end, and you're like, okay.
But they get inflated because let's say you watch a film and you think it's like an 8. And the rating's at like a 7, most people would put that up to like a 10 or 9 to try and influence or balance the scales a bit more, and the favor of it being, rated higher. So that way you get loads of people rating it 9 instead of like 8. And
because they just want to push.
Yeah, they want it pushed higher, exactly.
But I would say Endgame is probably a 7 or 8 for me.
I'd say high 7, like 7, 8, 7.8.
Yeah.
As a film, as enjoyment, I'd say 9.
Yeah,
like
it's hard to say because I say Infinity War because Infinity War for me just feels like a build up to Endgame.
Yeah, but I feel because one of my favorite films is Empire Strikes Back, and that it doesn't end the same way as Infinity War, but it ends on somewhat of a cliffhanger of the villain winning essentially, and the hero is kind of disbanded, and they don't really know how to solve the issue, or they've got to regroup essentially. Not quite as drastic as in Infinity War. Half of everyone on Earth dies.
Or in the universe.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, does that mean every creature? Is that like birds? And...
I don't know. I don't know how it works because I was thinking about this before. I think, which is weird about the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Because if you think about it logically, if half of the universe were just to disappear, wouldn't that mean that a planet like Earth could just disappear, the entire planet of people, or if you're going by how it should work, but based on Thanos' click.
Yeah, it's every species, I think.
Well, I was thinking every society, because that makes sense to Thanos' the way he's doing it. Because then he's like, so if a society gets overpopulated, you snap it, so it's half of the society, so it doesn't grow past what it can do.
I mean, his plan's stupid anyway. Like, it doesn't work. But how long does it work for? How long do you think it would take Earth from going from like 7.6 billion population to get back to 7.5 or whatever we were at, 7.3?
No, you just go around, do it old school.
What, it'd take like 50 years, 100 years?
Yeah, but he would just do it manually at that point.
Yeah, but he destroys the stones.
No, manually.
Like he comes down and
with a big axe. Just finish the job.
Yeah, but
so he maintains it. He jumps from planet to planet.
Yeah, but then he was doing that to start with, and then he thought, oh, this is taking forever, so I'll go get the stones.
Yeah, but before he had to get them like from 100% down to 50. Now he's just got to maintain
to like 60, then to 50.
Yeah,
60,
he's just got to maintain like
65
take out
been a bit late
10%
this
every
year,
now and again.
Yeah. Okay, that just still doesn't work though.
Oh, maybe
there's too many planets. There's too.
Maybe he just wanted things to be solved for a little while before they get worse.
That's not what he was. That's not how he.
Maybe
he's
a bit.
That's
dumb.
not how he pitched it.
Maybe he's a bit dumb.
At the board meeting, he's like, I'm inevitable. I will solve.
Yeah.
World.
I don't think he was that smart though. I think he was thinking like, we'll try it out. If it
Give
works,
it a go.
yeah.
That's what he said on Titan. He's like, come on, guys. We'll just. And also, how did he pitch that on Titan? Can you imagine, like, their council, basically, their government? Like, oh, we've got a population issue. And he's like, why don't we just kill half the population? And they're like, yeah.
It's like,
I don't know.
I'm not saying we do it now. Just run it
saying,
through the simulation.
I'm not saying, like, we choose. I'm just saying, like, randomly kill. And also, there's
you just need to keep the person who came up with the idea.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah. One of the most important, in case we need another idea.
Yeah, and also, I'm an avid gardener. I don't want to spoil my retirement plan.
No. I mean, it's very logical. And if you don't do it, I mean, I could do it.
Yeah, if you don't do it, do you think he just killed everyone on his planet? Because why is he the only survivor?
Yeah, what happened with that? Did they just like get really overpopulated? And it wasn't exactly a stupid planet. Couldn't they just go to different planets?
It seemed pretty civilized.
Yeah, and they obviously had some sort of like spaceships and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
why don't they just go somewhere else?
I don't know. Maybe he was just like, oh, they don't like my idea, I'll kill them all. And he's like a bit spoiled and
yeah.
I think that's
probably what happened.
He's a bit grumpy because they didn't kill half the population and then they were thriving, and actually they were just like, let's just expand to another planet.
And he's like, oh no, you
my
can't.
Idea's good.
No, because then you're gonna destroy that planet.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, that's not really hard about this idea.
But I don't know. The thing is with Thanos as well. We're just talking about Endgame again, but it's just good. Right, anyway.
Okay, it's fresh in our minds. Over.
Thanos in Endgame for me felt like a slightly different Thanos.
Yeah.
No. I think he's the same. Like I think he's written in the exact same way. But in Infinity War, he's written in a way where you can kind of get on board with him. No, you don't agree with him, but you can see where he's coming from. That's what makes him a good character, a good villain. Whereas Endgame, I think they show him being a bit more villainous to make sure that when they defeat him, you're more satisfied that they defeated him. For example, if they kept it on, I don't know, the way where you see him as like not a noble guy, but because he didn't kill people unnecessarily, like he didn't,
I think the way it's going is because in Infinity War, he basically has this whole big plan set out. Anything that can go wrong, he even has slight ways to get around it. Like, for example, Hulk comes out, tries to beat him up. It's like he knows how to fight. It's just one of the problems that like, oh yeah, this might happen, so I'll tick that box, do it. Oh, you can try. I don't judge you for trying to stop me, and I won't look down upon you for trying to stop me, but you can't, so it's okay. Then in Endgame,
he did come back pretty pissed because they cheated.
They did cheat.
Yeah,
and then he's kind of like at the point, this is going outside of my plan. I'm going to give it everything I've got.
Yeah, because he wasn't ready for the plan.
No.
Like he hadn't even had one. And also, that's something. When he hasn't even got one Infinity Stone at that point. Like, he's surprised that they found one. He's like, what? Holy shit, we've got the Power Stone. Oh my god, that's incredible. And then he's basically given a full Infinity Gauntlet with all... and then he's basically given a full Infinity Gauntlet. Like, he sees it with all six. He's like, that must have blown his mind. He's like, what? Like, all six of them are there. It's incredible. And so he probably was spurred on a bit by that and like, oh shit, I could just do it right now.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Yeah. I also, I don't know. I think he's just generally a lot pissed off because he cheated.
Yeah. They cheated. He does believe in genocide, so he's not a pleasant fellow anyway, is he?
I like how they did time travel. Like, this will be the last bit on
All right,
Avengers.
last Endgame.
Okay, I like how they did time travel because they did solve that issue of like. Firstly, it was very nice how they didn't just delete everything because usually in a film where they're like, oh, let's go back in time, everything's deleted.
Yeah,
like Back to the Future, everything else they're just like.
All the future would have just been pointless.
Yeah, it just never happens. Okay, we'll just.
What is it working?
Yeah, I think it just ran out again.
But is it still recording or not?
No.
Well.
Okay, so we'll get back to it last.
Okay.
Yeah, I like how they did time travel because it solved a lot of the issues. They're saying, yeah, we're going to take the Infinity Stones and then put them back, and that just made full sense. It's just kind of like if you change the past by taking something from it, you have to go back and kind of fix it.
Also this type of time travel that they've done, like the quantum physics one, you can still obviously pick holes in it, but there's less holes. It seems like there's less holes you can pick in it than just normal time travel where you change the past and it changes the future, because that makes paradoxes.
The other thing as well with their time traveling is when I watched Thor Ragnarok recently, and they're getting beamed up through the Bifrost. Yeah, and Loki falls out first, and then Thor falls out later. When they arrive, Loki's been there for weeks. So couldn't they do time travel that way?
Yeah.
So it's so couldn't if somebody controlled the Bifrost, if somebody invented that, couldn't they?
Isn't that just how the planet? Isn't that just to do with the planet's own time, not the Bifrost mechanics of the Bifrost? Doesn't that planet have a different method? Not a method of time, but they experience time. Relatively, it's different than Earth years. Like their years is different.
Maybe because they're next to that wormhole.
Yeah, I think that's how it affects. So they're different. Because let's say he lands on there, I don't know, 5 seconds before Thor, and 5 seconds in that world is 2 weeks.
Oh, maybe.
I think that's how.
And then the way that they got dragged to this specific planet is because they're next to a big wormhole.
Yeah, I think that's because Hulk's been there for ages, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to state a time, but.
Okay, so I think unless you want to say anything more on Avengers.
No, I think that's. I think we should probably get off Avengers for now.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Who was your favorite character? Mine was Captain Marvel, personally.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding. Right, okay, let's get off it.
Iron Man, definitely.
Iron Man, yeah, okay. Well, now we're actually talking about it. So
okay,
right.
Okay, so let's get on to the next topic.
Captain America for me.
Oh, damn it. On to the next topic. Memes.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I don't. Let's just go off your phone. And also, I do need a massive wee, so.
Okay, we are back.
I'm back from Urination, so.
Oh, good.
Mike, did you have some memes you wanted to share with the rest of us?
This is a really important area of the podcast.
Really important, yeah.
This will be the meme section.
Yeah.
So this is all the memes that I've seen in the past few days. So this one I thought was quite funny. This is the poster for Toy Story. Yeah. See it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, do you know Chucky?
So I thought that was the meme. So I was like, I don't get
That's
it.
the first part.
Okay, got you, right.
So, you know Chucky, Child's Play?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the poster for Child's Play.
Okay, that's good. That's good, yeah.
Right next to each other. For audio listeners, it's just a picture of...
well, we'll just put it on screen.
We'll put it on screen, but for purely audio listeners...
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a picture of Woody.
For audio listeners, just get it on screen. So stop being lazy.
Stop being lazy. But more or less, it's a joke between Woody getting stomped on and killed.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's funnier in audio form.
Here's another one as well. I got another thing, which is double standards of women and men in media.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't seem very applicable to us, though, does it? We don't like to talk about that type of stuff.
It's more just another point. This is something I saved as well. It's a photo of Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's saying Leonardo DiCaprio shows off middle-aged spread as he enjoys Mexican getaway. So it shows him too much eating, and it's a whole post about him being fat. And then there's a picture of Amy Schumer looking very similar in a lot of ways.
She's my favourite stand-up comedian.
Yeah. showcasing her knockout figure.
Oh, she's fit.
So the contrast is you've got the same newspaper company making fun of Leonardo DiCaprio for being a bit fat, and then Amy Schumer.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's just see, Norm. Like, I don't know. It's just the double standard, isn't it? It's it's like a toss.
I'm trying to find another meme.
No, because you have that with like the models, don't you? At the moment, like plus size models. Which don't get me wrong. Depending on what it is, I think plus size models, or not even plus size, just an average person, would be fine to have. But the fact that they're pushing for plus size models and getting rid of
it's a bad thing to push an unhealthy body type.
Yeah,
that's what it is. If they had
either way, if they're too skinny, too fat. The thing is, you have like people on the cover of magazines that are, basically gorgeous people, men or women. Then you only really have these type of women that then complain and say, oh, well, that's unrealistic beauty standards. They're only saying it because they can't obtain it or don't want to work to obtain it. Because for example, you and I, no matter what we do, we're never going to look as good as Chris Hemsworth. I mean, maybe not you.
Hey, definitely me. I go to the gym. They can't see me. I'm buff.
You're not.
I'm 6'7".
Yeah.
He's extremely.
He's actually pretty short. He's like 6'2".
No. Yeah, 6'2" is short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shorter than 6'7".
True. I'm still 6 foot though. So.
Yeah, but the point is, you have. I don't know. It's not a topic we want to get into again, but
no. We'll try and move past it.
We'll keep it light with memes, I guess.
Okay, let's go back to the memes.
Yeah, let's not let Jake get back onto equality.
Equality and Avengers. Anyway, this is an Avengers spoiler.
Okay, yeah.
There's a car that's called Avenger with a spoiler. Let's see another one.
Yeah. Thanks for ruining it.
I got this, which you might appreciate. Yeah. It's not so much of a meme, but it's kind of a bit nice. It's a chess set that was inherited from somebody's grandfather.
Oh shit!
Quite a nice one.
Wow, that is a good. I mean, you guys probably don't know, but I'm a big fan of chess.
Yeah,
I play a lot of it. But that is cool. Oh, you want your phone back? Do you? Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Keeping it now. It's not like marble as well.
I don't know. It just said it was pretty, and then I like chess. So
you're not kidding. Wow. How much do you think that's worth?
Oh, I don't know. It was inherited, but I think it's probably at least a few thousand, maybe like 10, 15 or something.
Yeah. Because I've got a bronze one, which I won't tell you the price, but it won't be as much as that. That's for certain.
Yeah. This is why gingers are going extinct.
Oh yeah, for people that aren't aware, Mike is ginger, so that's why it's
They know more and more about me now.
Yeah, you're ginger and you're 6'2".
Yeah, I'm buff.
Yeah, he's not buff.
I'm very buff.
Are we gonna cut out all the silence in between this? Or...
No, we'll just keep it. Okay. Here's it's not so much a meme. It's a bit interesting. It's a robotic bonsai tree.
Oh right, yeah. For people that don't know, Mike has got obsessed with bonsai trees.
I'm not obsessed. I have a bonsai.
Tell me about the new type of cutting you've learned to do. Whatever you call it.
I'm probably not saying this right, but it's like Narabi or something.
Or is that because you're a Western white man?
Yeah, because I'm a Western white
aren't
man.
you appropriating their culture?
I am, by appropriating Japanese culture. But it's basically where you lift up the bonsai out of the ground a little bit and you show some of the larger roots. And it's obviously all bonsai art is to make it look like a miniature tree.
Yeah.
But I won't go off on a rant about bonsai because nobody wants to hear that.
I think it's quite interesting.
Well, maybe if the plant gets better and, you
can bring it on, we'll pop it right here in between.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you want to go get it now, actually?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll go get it. It's okay.
I'll get it in case you break it.
I'm not going to break the bonsai.
You will break it. Oh, yeah.
I mean, just look at that, isn't that? Look at the little bench you made. What's this called in Japanese? What would you? Or the art of
a wooden bench. That's the Japanese for wooden bench.
Yeah.
For those people that don't know Japanese.
But yeah, no, it's coming along. It does look a little broken.
What?
Like here, have you like cut it?
No,
No,
like
it's meant to be like that.
yeah, it came like that.
Oh, did it? Oh,
Yeah.
You didn't splash out on a nice bonsai. You just
I spent as little
budget.
money as possible on it because I didn't
You
know
didn't know
if
if
it was
you
going
were
to be. Yeah, I
be a
didn't know if it was
bonsai
going to be
lover.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
like when I got into skateboarding. I wanted a skateboard, and I wanted it to be a longboard. So
yeah, and now you won the national championship.
I have, yeah.
So how often do you have to cut this?
I work on it every.
We're basically just talking about bonsais now, but
okay, well, we'll talk a little bit on bonsai.
yeah, a little bit, bonsai section.
I work on it.
Bonsai.
So I work on it every 3 days properly to sort
Yeah.
of trim it. Sometimes it doesn't need trimming. It's depending on what I want to do with it, really.
So you probably groom this more than you groom yourself.
Hey, I wash every day.
I didn't say wash, I'm saying grooming. So
Yeah, I'd probably groom that. I don't.
you don't groom yourself.
No, I don't get a haircut every 3 days.
Well, no, that's not. I'm saying like shave and like
No,
taking care of the little forest.
no, I don't do that. Let's see, one more meme. Shall we have 2 more memes and then end it?
Can do. Well, I mean, I thought we could talk about one last thing before.
Okay. Well, this is just kind of interesting.
Is it?
I got a lot of stuff that's interesting on here. So this is in Thailand.
Is it a video?
Yeah.
Just
Loading.
Not yeah. Okay.
See if I can get it to restart.
That's okay. I'll wait. Oh, there we go.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
It's so creepy and eerie.
Oh.
Imagine visiting there. You'd be afraid to fall into there, but
What's the meaning behind it? Do you know?
I do not know. I just saw it on Reddit and I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is it feels like if you fell in it, all the hand would bring you.
They would kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, even if it's just as it is, they're stone hands, you'd probably die.
I think it's meant to like represent the people begging from
possibly, yeah.
from like the government
I have no
or
idea,
something like that. Although I feel like the government wouldn't want to allow something like that. But I mean, we can show it on screen there, can't we?
Yeah, just save time. It's a forbidden veggie. It's just a stupid little moon there. It's a cool chess move.
Oh, what?
You haven't seen that one before? Yeah, apparently you can do that. If you get enough pieces together at the right time, you can do that.
Oh, okay.
And for audio listeners, it's a mega chess-tron.
Chessatron. The uncheckmateable. Kasparov is conglomerating his pawns into a mega chessatron. How many pawns are they using for that? Like, all of them? All 8?
Okay, we should have this.
Yeah.
Go for like 3 SD cards.
How do you think it would move?
I don't know, Jake.
Do you think it would just be like a queen but can also move as
Yeah, I think
like
it
a
would
horse
be
or
like a queen.
like a knight?
And then, but also, you don't get 1 move per go. It's like 2 because you've got like 2 legs. So
Yeah,
it's like,
Yeah, good point. That'd be good.
yeah.
Yeah.
We should have a game.
Yeah, and you can use this and see if you can beat me.
Yeah. Okay, so what else did you want to say before we end things?
Oh no, it was only really on the topic of men's rights again, really, just to round it off. But on the Staffordshire University thing.
Okay. Men's rights are great. Feminists suck.
Well, I don't know. It's more the fact that I don't think it's feminists that suck. I think it's just the view of feminism at the moment. Because do you think it's a bit too much of a push for diversity? Like for the almost not for the wrong reason, but the wrong execution. I think the reasoning behind getting like, for example, they're doing it again. One of my friends told me, well, they're telling me what they thought of Endgame.
Yeah.
And they were saying at the end with Captain America giving his shield to Falcon,
Yeah.
seemed very odd and seemed like it should be Winter Soldier. I mean, personally, I think it should be Winter Soldier, but them giving it to Falcon didn't really bother me. But he thought, oh, they're doing it out of diversity. Oh, they're doing it just because. I don't think that's why they're doing it.
I think it makes kind of more sense for Falcon because Falcon was more like Captain America in a lot of ways. Because Captain America was like an everyday guy who stepped up to a responsibility, whereas like the Winter Soldier was like even when they were younger, he wasn't that much like Captain. You know, he wasn't like, oh, I'm going to join the army and to do these things. And I think when they first met, like Falcon and Captain America, it was kind of like a mutual sort of thing. Even though Falcon's kind of shit and, you know, he shouldn't be in Avengers and he just die.
To me, it makes it seem like, I know, the political climate we're in, the fact that someone would just jump to that conclusion means that it's starting to become an issue. That, you know, diversity in itself is kind of being pushed too much. Because for him to assume that's what it's for. I don't agree, but for him to assume that's the reasoning behind it kind of makes me think, oh, you know, maybe diversity is becoming
I don't know.
pushed.
I think they have
like forced diversity.
I think they have to push it a little bit first. It's annoying that they do, but I
but
feel
but why? Why do you think they need to force diversity? If you're, it doesn't.
I think it's just because like a lot of the people watching Western media are getting more and more diverse. I don't think it's because.
Do you mean they want to be represented on the screen?
Yeah, but I don't think that's it's fine, like a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's. I mean diversity.
I don't mean diversity, but I don't think it's like a bad thing, like the way that it was before, having mainly like white people.
I mean, because there are films remade them. Yeah. Why would we not?
Because at the end of the day, they're from Western media. If you go to say Bollywood or you go to
China
or China, anywhere like that, they're not going to have diversity of other people in it because. Where they made the film, that's where it is. And the fact that people would claim that Western media needs to be this way or something like that.
And the fact that there's just more white people in the West. Still.
But I don't think that it's bad that it's changing to get more diverse because at the end of the day...
No, not at all. It's just, and in some of the way that they implement it, I think it can be bad.
A bit forced and, you know, get rid of the story
a bit. Yeah, because personally for me, I think Star Wars... See, I mean, it's not even a minority. Women have been portrayed in films for as long as men have. It's but regardless, you know, it seems forced with Daisy Ridley's character Rey. Yeah. How she's been pushed into it. It seemed like they were making a point because even J.J. Abrams came out and said that he wanted it to be a female protagonist. But you know, he was really pushing for that, which is fine. Obviously, if they made a good protagonist, they made a good character. But they didn't. They just made an empty vessel that, you know, doesn't really have any arc. I mean, I don't even... Have you've seen the films?
Yeah.
Star Wars. But
I don't know. I kind of like them as a fun thing to enjoy, but...
Do you like The Last Jedi?
I thought it was a bit fun, but the thing is, though, I don't have that much of a stake into Star Wars, so I'm not like I don't care if they butcher it a little bit. I'm just
a little bit.
Yeah, and also the point of having... the guy who does the voice for Joker in it, just like what's the point in having him in it?
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, the Joker guy. that's how you people know him, I think.
No, I mean, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, or shall I say I was. I know The Last Jedi for me just kind of made it all the new sequel trilogy a bit pointless to me. Yeah. It seems like they don't really have a vision of what they're doing, and Rian Johnson just kind of did his own little thing and thought, oh, this would be fun, and made a complete mess of it. And I mean, from the critics and the audience rating, it's very clear that people aren't so keen on it.
Yeah,
you got people on either side. Some people saying that you know, it's all right, like you, and then a lot of people saying it's crap, it's ruined it, and a lot of people saying, oh, it's even better. You know, it's showing how different it can be. You know, how diverse. You know, what do they call it? Subverting expectations, like.
Yeah, I just think any time that you mess with somebody's childhood and nostalgia, they're doing it for money, but they're also always going to piss people off. It's always going to happen. It's like it's big at the moment.
But... Yeah, but saying that it doesn't need, they don't need to. You say that as if like pissing people off is just inevitable.
With nostalgia stuff, it is really.
Yeah,
you're always going to do that.
But do you think pissing off basically 50% of the people that saw it was inevitable?
I think
you're always going to have the people that dislike it, sure. Yeah. But the amount of people that seem to dislike
maybe it's
it...
more than it could have been.
Yeah, it was a lot more than it could have been. You okay?
Yeah.
Looks like you broke your neck.
Oh.
But anyway, shall we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap things up.
Basically, Endgame was good.
Memes are kind of funny, and we like men's rights, but we don't like the views of modern day feminists.
Yeah.
This has been the Mike and Jake podcast.
Whatever.
Oh, okay. It's the Two White Men podcast.
Well, here's the reason behind it. I thought we'd call ourselves the Two White Men because it's a viewpoint that I think is becoming very, I know, not shouted down, essentially, you could call it. So it's just a viewpoint that people in modern day just don't seem to care about. Like they basically think that our viewpoint has been heard for long enough that white men now don't have a say in the world and should let everybody else catch up to us while we get basically other people have been oppressed. Maybe I'm getting on a little bit of a rant here.
Yeah.
Other people have been oppressed, and therefore now it's our turn to be oppressed.
Well, I was just thinking by naming it the Mike and Jake podcast because I'm called Mike and he's called Jake. Yeah. But we are going to call ourselves the Two White Men podcast because we are also two white men.
Yeah, we are. That is a fact as well.
And then in brackets, the Mike and Jake podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Or like have that first and then Two White Men in brackets.
Could do.
We'll see.
But I'm whiter than you, so.
Oh.
And I'm manlier than you.
No,
so.
You're not. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Thank you for listening. This has been Michael and
Michael is doing his radio voice.
And that's been Jake then.
And this has been the Mike and Jake Two White Men
podcast.